Hey there, everyone. A blessed Ramadan to you all, and a blessed Easter to all those who are celebrating. I just wanted to put out a video and kind of update where I'm at, what I'm doing, and kind of talk about that. I know I've been kind of inactive on my channel, and it's because overall I just really haven't been feeling very well or really up to posting in general. So, this is going to be kind of a catching up of kinds with what's been going on and what I've been doing and where I've been and some of the stuff that I'm kind of been trying since I last spoke, particularly related to health related things and kind of what I found to be somewhat beneficial. And to kind of begin, I'm going to start chronologing my journey with this difference in mind going forward. So, as you all know, post COVID or vaccine, we just don't know which one. I started experiencing pretty severe neurological symptoms. And I was experiencing neurological symptoms in this form of panic attacks prior to my COVID exposure as well as the vaccine exposure. So I was having mental health issues out of nowhere, pretty bad. Yeah, I was breaking down and I was having really crippling panic attacks that were affecting my life and my marriage and just every facet of my life for quite some time. And they would come on out of nowhere. And I had experimented a little bit with some form of medication to try to quell that. I decided that I didn't really want to take any of the medication that I was prescribed because a lot of times they just prescribe you SSRIs, which are incredibly dangerous and very harmful drugs to most people. So I actually found one drug, buspirone, that wasn't an SSRI and had really low side effects. And I went on buspirone for a little while to stabilize, and that was effective. It did stabilize me, but I still had side effects. It was still making me very tired, and actually created a lot of issues with me sleeping. And I was already having such problems sleeping. I couldn't deal with that. So I went off of the buspirone, and I started experimenting with diet, and particularly a ketogenic low carb diet. And after watching, there's a specific channel on YouTube called Metabolic Mind, and they had talked a lot about how people who have bipolar and schizophrenia and things like that, there's a doctor named Chris Palmer who experimented quite heavily with this, that the process of ketosis was very beneficial for those people and yielded all kinds of benefits. And so I bought an MCT oil supplement and I started experimenting with a very low carb / ketogenic diet. And that has accelerated and has accelerated my recovery and has benefited me quite a bit, as well as allowing me to fast in such a way that has been I wouldn't call it pain-free because I don't want to I don't know, implicate people who are fasting for Ramadan and for other things, and as saying that I'm getting the easy route because of the ketogenic thing. But anybody who's gone on a low carb diet can tell you that going large amounts of time without food becomes easier when you remove carbohydrates from your diet. So I started supplementing with MCT oil, and I started, of course, fasting. Intermittent fasting mainly. I'd done a couple long-term fasts of 48 hours, but and then supplementing with electrolytes, because whenever I would do a low carb diet, at least for a long duration, I started getting really dehydrated and my lips would get chapped. Yes, sweetheart. Yes. Well, there's a cute puppy right there. Yeah. And I love you too, Amelia. And my daughter, she's playing around right now. She wants to say hi to the camera. Want to say hi, Amelia? Over here. Hello. There you go. So yeah, so that's kind of what the status has been. And there's all kinds of clinical trials. What, sweetheart? Okay, I'll get you chocolate milk. Just give me a second, okay? I'm going to record this, and then I'll go get you some, okay? I have a cool, like, sugar-free, like, cocoa mix that she doesn't know is healthy, and so I give her that all the time. That's a duster. But so anyway, so I started experimenting with this dietary regimen and increasing my magnesium intake. I take a magnesium supplement, and much to my surprise, as well as reported side effects from a lot of people, my mood stabilized and my panic attacks basically went away entirely. And now, granted, I kind of ebbed and flowed and would fall off of the diet. I've gained some more weight. Then that's mainly just negligence because I was ordering, food because I work from home. I was ordering a lot of food out. And so that needs to be remedied. And so I'm taking steps to make those changes. But overall, I have found that the diet that I'm on, a more ketogenic therapy, has been the most effective at managing my condition. My tremor in my hands that I had spoken about, it's not gone, but it is better when I am on a ketogenic diet. My vision and pattern glare, my visual disturbances are better. The overall feelings of depression and of anxiety are basically non-existent when I'm on the diet. I feel more mentally sharp, and I feel like my brain is actually almost somewhat back to normal from prior to my dietary intervention. So I'm gonna kind of be chronologuing, as well as the other videos that I'm gonna put up, this type of dietary intervention as it goes through. Today will be the first day that I begin to once again take it seriously. I had taken it seriously for about 2 months, and then I kind of fell off of the bandwagon, even knowing that it was giving me benefits just out of sheer laziness. But I want to put this out there on my YouTube channel to, number one, let other people know that there might be something that can help them through this kind of illness or this kind of neurological symptom set that I experienced, and that there is potential hope and somewhat of a remedy to a lot of the things that they're experiencing. And there's a lot of evidence now that other people are employing this for psychological illness and for things like Parkinson's, for things like ALS, which was, I love you too, sweetheart, for things like ALS, which is the biggest fear that of the illness that I did have. Now, my muscle twitching, which was the biggest symptom that I was experiencing, is of course still there. I still have constant and just chronic muscle twitching all over my body. And sometimes that gets a little bit worse on my ketogenic diet because of the electrolyte imbalances that it can cause. Because you do carbohydrates, it does hydrate your body, and the carbs do have a beneficial effect on your electrolyte balance. So I'm going to experiment with increasing my electrolytes, and I've ordered a couple supplements, no sugar, unflavored, no crazy additives. I'm going to be experimenting with those types of things to see if they can stop that issue. Because it is annoying to twitch more than I normally do, which is already excruciatingly painful, not painful, but annoying and derailing as it is. It's like a Chinese water torture, to take an excerpt from some well-known thing, getting, drops of water dripped onto you consistently all over your body. But yeah, so I just wanted to give a quick update and kind of let people know where I am and that I'm not dead, that I'm still here. I'm still walking around. I'm still able to play with my daughter. I'm still able to pick her up over my head. I am definitely weaker, but there's a large part of that I believe was due to my, just laziness and lack of activity. So I'm going to be definitely increasing my working out, mainly in the form of just aerobic exercise. I'm going to be taking more walks and just getting my heart rate up, around 120 to 130 for longer periods of times. Hey, sweetheart, what? What? Okay, we'll fix it right now, okay? Here, drag it down just like this. There you go. Learning numbers. But yeah, so she's trying to draw a 9 and it wasn't letting her complete it. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on with me. And I can put some links to some of the videos that I've watched, and particularly that channel Metabolic Mind, that is all about ketogenic therapies benefiting people with serious psychological illnesses, mainly in the forms of bipolar and schizophrenia. And the results of that have been pretty incredible. I mean, people who had drug-resistant schizophrenia basically are having great successes with a ketogenic diet. And so I hope potentially to have similar results as far as it's concerned, and maybe eventually maybe even heal to the point where I get over my illness. There was another person that had ALS, and they got put on a intermittent fasting and ketogenic therapy, and over the course, I believe it was of a year, they had only decreased in their ALSFR score by, I think, only 1 point, and they normally decrease 1 point every month. So it radically slowed their progression, which is pretty fantastic news. So, and then there's been other people with Alzheimer's, other dementia-related illnesses that have had, I mean, really, truly miraculous results. So all kinds of these neurological and neuromuscular disorders may have found not necessarily a cure, but something that really helps with quality of life and really helps the people out who are suffering from it, and the burden of care on the people that are caring for them. So I don't necessarily think that it'll cure me. All I want is to kind of get back to a life that is sustainable and a life that is enjoyable and a quality of life that I don't feel in imminent danger and imminent fear, and I feel like there's hope maybe in prolonging of my my healthy status rather than it reducing over time. So that's kind of the update, guys. Like I said, I'll put some of the links in the video description so that you guys can read them. And then I'll be going back to kind of somewhat of normal content that I was making before, that talking about religious discussions and going into, some political realms and things like that. And maybe, getting back to maybe streaming some games here and there just for enjoyment while my body heals somewhat and I get more and more energy and things like that to be able to work out and to improve my body composition, which is, of course, the end goal. So I'll be posting snapshots and pictures of maybe weight loss progress and overall blood work and things like that, because I still am going to doctors. I have an appointment with UCSF Movement Disorder Clinic because my neurologist sent me there. And so we're just going to continue to see where that goes. And so anyways, God be with us all, and hold your families close, and because you just never know when disaster can strike. And then, of course, God be with the Palestinians in these very dark times, and may the war that is going on in the Middle East come to a swift end, and God be with all of those who are suffering, the Palestinian children that are suffering with all of their with all of the radical Israeli terrorism that is going on in the Middle East, and may that all stop and cease, and as we all hope that it does. Anyways, I'll talk to you all later. Thank you. Bye.